Hey everyone! Today I am sharing with you a layout that I did with my September hip kit, and it has lots of Amy Tan finders keepers in it, and I also had a couple papers that I bought from my local scrapbook shop from the finders keepers collection as well, so I'm using a little bit of that today too, but the majority of what I'm using comes from my hip kit. So this picture is from the Muir Woods forest in California. And if you've never been there, it's an amazing place. It's just so peaceful, and those trees are hundreds of years old. They are beautiful. And so on this layout, I knew that I wanted to do a large photo, and because that's the only way you can really get the nature of like how large these trees are. So I printed out a picture on an 8.5 by 11 piece of photo paper, and I'm making that the focal piece for this layout, as you can see. So I mounted it on that really pretty blue Amy Tan paper, and because I just really wanted to draw the blue out in the picture up towards the top and in the background behind those trees, because I literally just took my iPhone and I pointed it up and shot the picture, and I just wanted to get that blue to really pop more. So I matted my photo on that blue paper, and then I knew that I wanted to use it's a wood grain on one side and ampersands on the other side from the Dear Lizzie documentary collection. And so I used, and that was in the kit as well, so I used that for my background paper, and because I wanted to get a little bit of a woodsy feel since you are in a forest. But I didn't want the whole thing to be, the wood grain cardstock. So I am going to use some of that stripy paper just to brighten it up a little bit. And it's just a little bit, and it's not a huge piece, just enough to add some color. And I'm going to eventually trim off the blue at the top and the bottom. That must be what, yeah. So I trimmed the blue at the top and the bottom of my photo just to make it a true matte. I thought about leaving it and letting it go from the top to the bottom, and then just having the striped paper show on the right and the left of it, but I decided against that and I trimmed it off. So I'm using the thickers from the Finders Keepers collection. Actually, both sets of them are from that collection, and I love these ones where I spelled out Majestic, and they're kind of like wood grain with other colored pieces on them, and I just love how they have like all the colors from the collection. So I spelled out Majestic with those, and then I'm spelling out Muir Woods with the other thickers that are kind of like little puffy stickers. So, and they're really fun because they're not really big and they're skinny. So they're really good when you're trying to spell out long words. So, and also I want to note that this layout was based off of a layout that Jen Stokes did probably like a year ago, but I just remembered that it had really caught my attention because she also had a large photo. So I went back to her YouTube channel, and I believe it's Scraps by Jen, but if it's not, I'll put something down in the comments. So, but anyway, so I went back to her. She had a Kill a Kit video for Hip Kit, and so I went to hers and found her layout with the picture, and I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do. So I did base mine on her, so I definitely want to give her credit for this. So I'm going to get my photo stuck down there, and now I think I'm gonna maybe put my letters away. Yep. Clean up my space a little bit. I thought I cut that out, but I didn't. Okay, so I'm kind of just figuring out where I want my title to go, and it's pretty much going to stay in that same area. It might move a little bit, but not much. So we got these wood chips in our kits, and everybody was like, I don't know what to do with these things. And so I was like, well, I typically wouldn't know what to do with them, but since I had gone to the Muir Woods, I'm like, I've got to use them on this. And so I initially thought I was going to try and use 3 of them maybe to have like 3 focal points, but I am going to change my mind on that because I feel like it's too much, and then I'm having trouble embellishing with those. So well, there I go, moving them around, thinking I'll put 2 over there, but I don't. So I'm going to end up having one over there on the left side by my title. It's going to change a little bit, but for the most part, it'll stay there. So I was looking through the chipboard that we got, and that was from the Crepe Paper Wonder collection. And I'm not going to do anything with that yet, I don't think. But we also had a sheet from the Finders Keepers collection with cut-aparts. And so I'm going to end up using one of those for my journaling. And I'm going to cut the top piece off where it says lovely, because I just couldn't get that to look right. I tried backing the word lovely in blue, and I liked how it looked, but I just didn't like how it looked on my layout. So anyways, and so I did also these gold hearts, these glittery gold hearts. They're chipboard hearts, and they're from Studio Calico 7 paper. And I did add those on here. I thought they coordinated well, and so I pulled them out and used them with the kit, because I have a hard time. I buy these things and then I have a hard time using them since I do get my kit. So I decided that I needed to use those. So, and they really work well. So, but you can see now I have that chipboard, or the 2 chipboard birds that I put onto the 1 wood piece. And I did put 1 rub-on on that wood piece, and then I put the little birds over that. So I wanted to get those birds on there because my daughter really loves birds. So I put those on there. And so I put 2 other embellishment clusters, and one is at the right bottom. And that one I just used 2 of the little die cuts from the ephemera pack from the Finders Keepers collection, and it says unbelievable, and the other one is like pink with gold arrows, and then I used one of those gold hearts there to ground it. And I'm sorry I'm cutting off the top part where I'm doing my other embellishment cluster. You will see it a bit later, but I used one of the die cuts from the ephemera pack as well, and it's kind of like almost like a blue gem, I guess, it's like blue with gold. You can see it there in this picture, I think. And then there's a little banner piece, and it says brilliant. And then I used one of those gold hearts again. So, and I just added a little bit of my Scotch Quick Dry adhesive on there to get those stuck down good. And once I do that, I believe I might go back to my title, but maybe I'm trying to figure out the placement for this so I can put the that little wood chip there with the birds, because I really love that. And I was bound and determined I was going to use one of those little wood chips, so. So anyways, I kind of marked where I wanted my journaling paper to go. So I just put some adhesive on the back and then stuck it down right there. And then I am going to use the wood chips there. And so I'm going to go ahead and glue it down, which, oh, that's right, I added a little bit of adhesive on the birds to make sure they stick onto this wood chip. They were stuck pretty good. I probably didn't need to, but I was afraid I would come back to it in an album. If I ever do file these in an album, that's a whole different story. But I didn't want to find them, in the bottom of the page protector sitting there. So I added a little bit of adhesive. And now I'm going to glue those on. And I added way too much glue. I don't know why I thought I needed so much. It actually made my page buckle just a tiny bit, but you won't notice once it's in the page protector. And I wish I hadn't stuck those on yet, because I knew that I wanted to add something to kind of fill in the gap between my title where it says Muir Woods, because I did not want to have Muir Woods actually on the photo like I did, like I'm going to end up doing with the word Majestic. So I get that down, and now see what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to take one of those washi pieces of the washi tape that we got, the little washi book. And I do love washi books because then you only get a little bit of each design. But here I am trying to stick it behind that wood chip, and it's next to impossible. So what I did, so now when I cut this part off, but I've actually glued it, I just actually stuck it onto a piece of regular just printer paper so that it would be just a little bit thicker and give me more to work with. So I did that, and then I cut it off of the printer paper, and that made it much easier to glue down. But of course now I've got to add some adhesive because, it's doesn't have the sticky on the back of it anymore. So I get that there, and now I'm much happier. So I'm gonna work on my title, I think. Oh, maybe I'm gonna try and move that, but I think at this point it's pretty much stuck and it will not move. Um, so I'm going to, I know I'm going to get my title on there at some point. What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna take those little the little puffy stickers, and I'm just using the washi tape to kind of line them up, and I play with them a little bit because I get them there, and then I mess with their placement some because I didn't like the way they were, where they were ending over my big wood chip there. And since the wood chip wasn't moving at this point, I had to adjust the letters. So here we go. I'm just going to scoot them over just a little bit, and that way it kind of makes them just fit right there on top of that wood chip and the beginning of the washi tape. And I know probably nobody else would have noticed if it wasn't perfect, but you know, I would have always noticed when I looked at it, so I had to fix it. So I got those on, and then I'm now looking at my Majestic piece of the title, and so I'm overlapping that so that it goes on the blue and then the striped paper and the photo. But the center part of the T actually comes down over the photo and the blue and the white. So I wanted it there so that it didn't have any kind of weird looks to it when you looked at the title, if that makes any sense. So I did add a little bit of my Scotch Quick Dry onto the chipboard. These did seem to stick better than most of them. I don't know if they've changed maybe some of their chipboard thickers to a different adhesive or something, but I still didn't want to risk it because I know that a lot of times they do fall off. So I did add some adhesive on there. So now I'm going to add a little bit of gold Heidi Shine on there. And I don't do a whole lot more. I think I'm going to add some of the little enamel hearts and my journaling. I'm just going to journal right there on that pink card that I had. But I'm going to add these little epoxy enamel hearts, sorry. The little enamel hearts. I kind of dot them around the page. And I did add a chipboard arrow, and that was from the Crepe Paper Wonder chipboard sheet as well. And I also added the date below my journaling and that arrow. But now I'm adding the little enamel hearts just for a little more color. And since I already did have those hearts on there, I wanted to put those on. And I just go around to my main areas where I have my embellishment clusters, and then after I do the bottom one, I'm going to go over to the one right by the little birds on the wood chip, and I'm going to put one of those hearts right by the word Muir and the Muir Woods, just to kind of fill in a little bit there because it was such a void space. And just add a couple more, and that's it. So I will have some photos coming up. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.